Grab your hot dogs and say hi to your mother for me.
Say hi to your mother for me.
Because we have Mark Wahlberg's latest action film that doesn't involve Michael Bay.
Bumblebee, stop lubricating the man.
In this video, we'll be taking a deep dive into Netflix's Spenser Confidential, breaking down its ending and solving the case along the way. Buckle in, it's time to think story.
Thanks for driving me to the library for story time, Brian.
The movie really gets underway with the deaths of two Boston police officers, Captain John Boylan and Officer Terrence Graham. In fact, Terrence is framed for the murder of John, and the case is swept under the rug when it's found out that Terrence supposedly committed suicide. John was a dirty cop that our protagonist Spenser beat up 5 years ago for not looking into the murder of a local woman named Gloria Wisniewski. You see, Spenser used to shovel snow for Gloria's mother.
Say hi to your mother for me, okay?
And when Gloria became an outspoken activist against developers moving into Southie, she was harassed and later murdered by Charles Bentwood, a man hired by Boylan to keep her quiet, hence why the case was covered up. Fast forward 5 years later, and Boylan is found murdered the same day Spenser is released from jail. Most people would shrug it off and move on with their lives, but not Spenser, even though he'd much rather move to Arizona and drive trucks for the rest of his life. Spenser used to work with Terrence and knows him to be a good man. He'd never be a dirty cop. While talking with Terrence's wife, we get a little more insight into Spenser's motivation to solve this case. He sees a lot of the same qualities in her that he saw in his own mother.
You know, my mom wasn't dealt a good hand either. But she was fierce, tough. She had a lot of heart.
By taking on this case, he's not only taking on a corrupt system that put him in jail for doing what is right, but also bringing justice to a world he says is unjust.
There's zero justice, ever.
Spenser teams up with his new roommate Hawk, who he initially doesn't get along with. His dog Pearl likes him better, he has to share his room with him, and he only stocks the fridge with oatmeal milk. Hawk isn't keen on helping Spenser until he sees how this case has affected Terrence's son, who will now grow up without a father. Hawk's father was also murdered doing the right thing and trying to make his community a better place. That's why this scene between Hawk and Terrence's son is so impactful to him. He sees himself as that little boy. Spenser seeks out the security footage the night Terrence was taken in what is likely the most non-discreet manner possible. There he finds Terrence got into a yellow Corvette, which you'll later find belongs to Charles Bentwood, a member of the Irish mob with ties to the Dominican gang known as the Trinitarios. Tying Charles's connection to a new casino called Wonderland with the help of Post Malone, of course, Spenser and Hawk find out a group of cops, gang members, and politicians are working together as a group called Los Oscuros to claim stake in this new casino. Even when Spenser has wiretap proof that Boylan was ratting on Los Oscuros to make a deal with the feds, the FBI agents still say it's not enough. So they do the only logical thing and throw a hammer into the van containing all the drugs, gaining control of it in an attempt to lure out the organization's leader, Spenser's former partner, Driscoll. But Driscoll fires back by kidnapping Henry, offering his life in exchange for the millions of dollars worth of drugs. In an ironic shift, Driscoll and his men are rammed by Spenser driving Black Betty, just like how they rammed Boylan earlier on in the film. It's also fun to note riding Betty was set up an hour earlier.
I get a shot at driving Black Betty?
You're not ready, Mr. Spenser.
You may also have seen the Hawk flying briefly toward them, symbolizing the character of the same name. Spenser takes on Driscoll in a one-on-one, making a citizen's arrest and saying,
I'm gonna serve some justice today.
a change from his character who once said there is no justice. The FBI swoops in and makes the arrests even though they basically did nothing. The cops are busted, the casino is shut down, and justice is brought to Gloria and Terrence's murders. Hawk and Spenser are in the hospital together, sharing beds apart just like in their home, and notice Spenser's dog has chosen to be with Spenser. But the film ends with the door wide open for a sequel. While enjoying some celebratory lobster, the gang sees on the news the arrest of a firefighter responsible for the deaths of over 24 firemen in a blaze that burned down St. Aidan's Church. Spenser says he knows the man who claims that he was set up, and with a final look at Spenser's face, we just know this will be a case he'll have to look into. Thanks everyone for watching this quick video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I have lots more on the way. You can also follow me on Twitter at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.